With all the action and adventure, thrills and spills that Cape Town has to offer, what better way to relax than in the Cape winelands? I'm going to take you on a tour of my top 5 favourite wine farms here in the Cape, and each one is very unique and a must for any trip to South Africa. I'm going to start the list here at the Waterford Estate, which is nestled in the Drakenstein Valley between Paarl and Franschhoek. Founded in 1690, Waterford is the oldest of the Cape Dutch farms. This farm is actually a replica of those that used to supply the trade ships on the spice route to India with fresh fruit and vegetables so that the sailors didn't get scurvy. This estate has an extensive fruit and vegetable garden of rich diversity and beauty. I'm kicking off the wine tasting with the Waterford Chenin Blanc. They actually have 2 Chenin Blancs, which are of the 2014 vintage. The first one is a screw cap, which has less alcohol in it, and that's only 9%. And this here is the corked wine, which has an alcohol content of 13.5, and you can tell the difference. It's a much fuller flavoured wine with guava undertones, and it's it's quite delicious and refreshing. Next up is the 2013 Waterford Shiraz, and I am supposed to be able to detect pencil shavings and chocolate. I definitely get the chocolate. I'm not sure about the pencil shavings, but it's a really delicious wine. This is the Waterford flagship wine, Nebuchadnezzar,
that's coming from the
for the red wine.
That's right. And the oldies for stock taking, they mark the bottles. That's the logo of the farm. The flower is the gardens, the birds and nature, and the pipe is the farmer.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice one.
And this is a Bordeaux blend.
That's right. It was released about 3 weeks ago. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much. If you fancy a spot of lunch while you're here, the restaurant Babel is an award-winning restaurant, and it's absolutely amazing. The food is exquisite and definitely well worth a visit. I'm at the Meerlust Estate now, which is my absolute favourite, just because the wines are brilliant. The Meerlust Wine Estate is celebrated for its red wines, and I'm a red wine drinker, so I'm in absolute heaven right now. They only make one white wine, which is the Chardonnay, and they only started to produce that in 1995. But the rest of them, I cannot wait to taste, especially the Rubicon, which is my absolute favourite. Can't wait. This is the Meerlust Merlot. It's 89% Merlot and 11% Cabernet Franc, which gives it that spice and tannins. Delicious. I'm now at the Waterford Wine Estate, which is situated in one of the most visually arresting pockets of paradise in the world. Nestled in the Blauwklippen Valley, this 120 hectare property boasts ancient citrus groves, fragrant lavender beds, and the most amazing water features. The chocolate and wine tasting at Waterford is a unique flavour experience. Kevin Arnold and chocolatier Richard von Gassau have paired dark chocolate and milk chocolate with Shiraz, Cabernet and natural sweet wines for an incredible flavour sensation. Bite of the chocolate, sip of the wine, heavenly. This is the Waterford Estate flagship wine, which is the 2009 vintage Gem. There were only 15,000 cases made, so it's a limited edition. It smells divine. So smooth and velvety. I love South Africa. This is Fairview Wine Estate in Paarl, and it's actually one of my favourite wine farms to come to because I just love the way that the goats climb up the tower. The goat is actually an integral part of this farm's history, and the brand of Fairview has actually incorporated a lot of the goat's capricious nature into its DNA in terms of always looking for new opportunities, being sure-footed, and best of all, being mischievous. Fairview produces a wide range of varietals, and the quality of wine is absolutely superb. And here in Stellenbosch, the 35 hectares are home to the Bordeaux varietals, trellised on the western slopes of the Hildeberg Mountains, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot. Absolutely beautiful. This is the grand tasting room, and as you can see, the barrels of wine are behind me, and I can't wait to get started. I'm now going to try this unhide limited edition Shiraz, which I cannot wait. Apparently it means loneliness, but I don't think I'll be too lonely too long once I've had a few of these.
So, from a single vineyard site, unirrigated bush vines. Very intense, very concentrated. The grapes survive from the natural winter rainfall only. Tiny berry, thick skin, very concentrated juice. And the wine spend about 20 months in barrels, of which 40% of the oak are new French oak, and the majority is second fill. Full, very smooth, soft and firm tannins with a hint of more exotic spices to the end of your palate.
Oh, it has a fantastic bouquet.
Beautiful nose, eh? Excellent.
It's like the Hobbit.
Yes, very smooth on the palate, very easy to drink, and definitely a wine to enjoy with your lamb shank or your steaks.
I am definitely enjoying this. Sorry. When you sniff the cork, when you pull it from the bottle, what does that mean? What are you doing?
By opening a bottle and you smell the cork, you can actually pick up if the wine is corked, by meaning it's going to smell like very waxy and like wet carbonates, or you're going to smell it and see if it's oxidized. I mean, you're going to have a very sweet, mufty cork at the end. But by tasting also your wine before you serve it is also to tell if the wine is perfect to taste. Right.
So the fact that this doesn't have much of a smell is a good thing.
Then it's a good wine. So you don't
Okay.
have it.
So now this, what am I looking for on the glass?
Okay, the palate of the wine. Sometimes a red wine can be a very old vintage, and that means the color will turn more to that kind of brown, brick brown color. But when it's young, it stays your red, purple color side. 2012, still very young for a red wine, but this wine got aging potential. You can keep this wine for another 10 to 15 years in the bottle. Immediately when you go deeper down the glass, you can pick up some red fruit flavors.
Oh yes,
In the aftertaste.
loving that.
It gives some oxygen to the wine so that it can breathe a little bit more.
Can I drink?
Yeah, you're welcome.
I can't wait.
Yes, you may.
Oh wow,
And the aftertaste lasts longer on your palate.
it's very heavy that.
Yes, it's full.
Very full.
Smooth velvet finish to the end.
This is the Silback Shiraz, and it's one of their flagship wines, the 2012 vintage, and it's absolutely stunning with really dark berries. Now over the years I've become a bit of a connoisseur, and this 2012 flagship wine here at Fairview is absolutely exquisite, and as you can see it has very slow moving legs down the glass, which means that it's a very good quality dry red wine, and it has a high alcohol content.
Beautiful dark
Oh my
berries. Hint of spice.
Stunning.
And aftertaste.
Don't spit it out! That's a waste of good wine. Why are you doing that?
By 4 o'clock, I will be potent here, lying out the floor.
I hope to be at this
I
rate.
can still taste it. The aftertaste linger on the palate.
It's too good to throw away. I'm drinking all
But I'm
mine.
gonna have the last bit of it.
This is the fifth and final of my favourite wine farms here in Cape Town, and I'm at Waterford Estate for a little bit of lunch. I need to soak up the alcohol with something, and they do a fantastic sirloin and Syrah winemaker's lunch, which is absolutely awesome. The steak is divine, and with the wines of Waterford, it's an absolutely incredible combination. Here at Waterford, they do 3 varietals, which is the Cab Sav, the Syrah, and the Merlot, and this is my first of the wine tasting. It's a fruity Merlot, and in the restaurant they pair it with the white meat and the fish. As if I haven't had enough already, this is the Syrah, which is the most dominant varietal here at Waterford, and this is the one that they actually pair with the sirloin steak. I can't tell you how delicious that is, and I chose this wine farm particularly because obviously I love red wine, and it's almost exclusively a red wine farm, bar one that they use with the salmon. So bring it on. There's 5 more to come. Okay, we've got 4 more wines to go. This is the estate wine, which is their flagship wine here at Waterford. It is 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 30% Syrah, and 10% Merlot, which also represents the percentage of grapes on the farm. So that's why they call it the estate wine. It is absolutely delicious, and it's one of the top 100 wines in the world and has been 5 times. I am loving this farm. I'm loving this farm. Wow, I think I've had enough. Okay, so we now have 2 wines to go. We're on the single vineyard Syrah. There were only 1,300 bottles of this made, so it's a limited edition. It is absolutely exclusive and a little bit more alcoholic than the other Syrah that I tasted, which is about all I need at this stage. But it's just getting better and better. Okay, finding it a little bit hard to focus right now as we're onto our 6th wine, and this is the single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. The single vineyard means it's from the very best grapes, which is section 4 of this farm, and this is aged in oak barrels for 20 months and then a further 14 months in the bottle. It's extremely potent and is yeah, absolutely delicious. It's like they get better and better, and not just because I'm drinking, it's just that they save the best for last, and as this is number 6, wow, it's incredible. This is our 7th and final wine of the wine tasting. This is the 1694, which is an amalgamation of the single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon and single vineyard Syrah. It's also the date that the farm Waterford was established, so it's a very significant wine, and probably yeah, one of their best. So bottoms up. Oh, wow, it's like velvet. I'm surprised that I can even string a sentence together at this point, and I'm not quite sure what this is for because I haven't used it once. I don't know who uses these spittoons because the wine's just too good to throw away. So I'm certainly not going to spit it out. This is just an awesome wine experience.